welcome back to the Superhero Fight Club, the best superhero podcast on all podcasting platforms, where we take a deep dive on superheroes and villains, talking about their abilities, powers, strengths, and weaknesses, comics, movies, TV series, and much, much more. I'm your host, Eric Hines, and let's jump straight into the multiverse. So, today on episode 2, our guest today is Eric Hines. That might sound a little bit confusing because my name is Eric Hines, but it's my father, it's my dad. So shout out to you. Thank you for coming out.
No problem. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
for inviting me.
So the two superheroes that we'll be talking about today, or one superhero, one supervillain, will be Green Lantern and MODOK. That was your choices today, and we'll get into that a little bit later, like why you chose them. To be honest, I don't know. That interesting choice, I would say. But either way, we'll get into it. For the first segment, I just want to start off on background knowledge, and we'll start with Green Lantern. So obviously, Green Lantern, DC character, right? Off rip. Quick question: do you like DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
All the way?
All the way.
But you chose a DC character.
I chose a DC character, correct.
Interesting. Okay. But let's dive into a little bit more. So the first thing I want to go into is his abilities, right? The Green Lantern abilities all come from his ring, right? And the thing that he wears, it helps him do a lot of things such as fly, heal, pass through solid objects, create different types of weapons. Basically, he basically can do anything with that ring. As long as he got the ring,
correct,
he's good to go.
Yes.
Right? One of the most powerful beings, I would say, in the DC universe. If you really go that far into thinking about it, like top 5 at least, because he can create quite literally anything with that ring. Right? So you have that, and then his origin story, right? So obviously, I did my research on this a little bit.
Good,
Had to dive into it a little bit. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll try my best to answer them, right? But Green Lantern, the origin story that I got was a man by the name of Alan Scott discovers a Green Lantern with a ring inside of it that grants him powers, right? That's basically the moral of the story. It comes down out of nowhere, he discovers the ring, puts the ring on, he's chosen.
Correct.
Right? So in hindsight, it's looked at as if, the way I just described it, it sounds like as if he just found some random Green Lantern. No, it was placed in a certain area for him to find it, for him to pick it up, for him to take that power. He was chosen to be the Green Lantern.
Right.
So there's that, right? Little history. Then I went into their moral code a little bit, right? And what they stand for.
Mm-hmm.
So for Green Lantern, it said that he would not let any evil escape his sight by any means, right? So he stands on the fact, because you have different superheroes that have different moral codes, right? Some superheroes, people would view them as anti-heroes, but at the same time, some people kill, some people don't, right? Green Lantern, his biggest thing is that if there's evil, he's going to handle it, right? That's the biggest thing about Green Lantern if you had to take something out of the moral code. If there's some type of wrongdoing, if there's some type of thing that doesn't look the right way, or if there's not justice being served, he's going to try to find a way to serve justice.
Correct.
So we got
truly serve and protect.
Truly serve and protect?
Correct.
Okay. And then I went into his motivation. Why does he do it, right? Many different superheroes, I think one of the biggest things is that they all have different motivations, right? That's what makes their story a little bit different every single time, right? Like we went into Batman last episode, right? I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that's listening, but could go into a different superhero like Spider-Man, Superman. You understand what I'm trying to get at. But Green Lantern's motivation
is different.
It's a little bit different, but from what I've found, right? It says Green Lantern's motivation is just to always restore order. He was chosen for this role, and responsibility has to stick to that, has a responsibility to stick to that code, right? So his biggest thing is order, right? There's just one, it goes one way. This is how it's supposed to go, right? That's it, right? And he sticks to that moral code. It kind of ties into the moral code as well. It's just the same way around, right? Everything, justice. That's the biggest thing, right? I find it kind of funny because, granted, he's not Justice League. He has his own, little, posse with the Lantern.
Core.
Yeah, the core. But, his whole thing is justice and, Justice League, DC. It's kind of...
He's part, though.
Yeah, he's part. I'm just saying, in general...
He's seat at the table.
I don't want to turn it towards Justice League because it's about Green Lantern. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He had his own posse. He has his own posse and everything like that. But obviously, we're not going into them today. We're sticking on Green Lantern. But that's basically his motivation. As far as movies go, right? So I wanted to go into a little bit of the film aspect of it as well. Obviously, it's rumored that he's supposed to have a Green Lantern movie in 2024, being the part of the new reboot of DC.
Correct.
Is that going to happen? I don't know because
Directed by yours truly? No, directed by
quote unquote what?
Mr. Gunn, right?
I don't know if it. No, I don't know if he's directing it.
Oh, he's producing. He's got his
he
hand
might be
in it.
yeah, but like he's like the Kevin Feige of like DC.
Okay, yeah, he's got
As
his
far
hand
as
in it.
as much as I understand, he's like the Kevin Feige of DC. So like, but
Dangerous.
he directed James Gunn. Fun fact. I mean, it's not really a fun fact if you're a Marvel fan, but like James Gunn directed the Guardians of the Galaxies, right?
Mhm.
He wasn't the producer and everything like that. He wasn't in Kevin Feige's position.
Right.
He was the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. Now he's in Kevin Feige's position, just in DC, right? So I don't know if he's directing the film, but it's rumored to have a movie right now. Obviously, I kind of want to get your thoughts on that as a whole. I know we're just going into the information aspect of it, but I know that past there hasn't been that much. And actually, in my next one, the Green Lantern character has only appeared in 3 movies that I researched. There was only 3 movies, and I think that's a little bit short for most. When you think about someone as big as Green Lantern being in the Justice League and stuff like that, you would think that he would have
Bigger role.
way
bigger
more
show.
appearances, at least way more appearances, but they just haven't done a lot with the character. And most of the time, they do something with the character, it's hasn't been received well by the audience. A lot of
Mhm.
people hasn't really liked it. I think the last Green Lantern was Ryan Reynolds,
Yes.
right? I don't think that did as well as you would expect it to, right?
Right.
But overall, what do you think if there is going to be a Green Lantern movie in 2024? Because the way movies work nowadays, they tell you that it's going to happen, then something else happens, and it gets postponed for another 2 years. So you don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. But what are your thoughts on that overall?
Well, as far as the movies goes, upcoming, I can't wait to see it. Right, especially if it's in Mr. Gunn's hands to see what he's gonna do. His collective group of people to bring this model of Green Lantern to life is gonna be exciting. Right, I can't wait for that. And I'm just a comic book movie
Nerd?
nerd, so any comic book come to life on the screen, I'm going to more than likely like it. So I liked the Green Lantern. What was it, Kevin Reynolds? I liked it. I mean, a lot of people trashed it or they didn't like it, but it was just me seeing Green Lantern come to life in film, so
For
I
you-
loved it.
For you, it's more or less, if like, correct me if I'm wrong, but for you, it's more or less the fact that the things that you read as a kid come to life. No matter like whether it's good or bad, it's just the fact that you get to see it is like wow, like
Right.
it's like starstruck.
Because all I had growing up was just the cartoons or tune figures, so to speak, right? And that's the most. Even now, the most of Green Lantern's appearances was tunes.
Yeah, it was mostly cartoons. When I was
Yeah,
growing
it
up.
wasn't
I
real-
did stay on the movie side
Yeah,
because I'm more into live action films.
right.
But there was a lot more as far as the information side of it. There's a lot more cartoons that he's in than
Yes,
than
indeed.
movies at all.
Right? And so I even checked those out, even the last one recently. Can't remember the name of it though. But so as far as movies goes, I mean, they did mess up the villain though. But nevertheless, upcoming, can't wait to see it. I read up on it. It's going to be
Supposed to be.
nice.
See, the thing is, you're not worried a little bit because like I feel like we read up on a lot of things that it's supposed to be really good, and then it comes out and it's like it's disappointment. You know, for example, I know we're talking about DC, but like, if we're talking about superheroes in general, just DC, Marvel, anything, honestly. The most recent thing that I know that we watched, Secret Invasion, had so much hype on it. And this is
True.
Marvel, by the way, for anyone that's listening, right? Had so much hype on it. And
True.
it came out and it was just, in my personal opinion, just mid. Just out of 10, maybe a 6.
Yeah, I believe honestly, with most superhero comic books come to life, too much dialogue is. But you know what the funny thing is though, when you read a comic book, you have to read the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
The pictures is amazing. You get you get your imagination from the pictures, but you have to read the dialogue. But in the movies, it doesn't play out too well. You need more action. But I guess they realize they can't overload it with characters and action, so they got to balance it out with dialogue. But yeah, I think Secret Invasion has way too much dialogue and left out so much information, created so many holes, and so. But you didn't get that with Green Lantern though.
You don't think you got that with Green
You
Lantern?
didn't get that with Green Lantern at all. They went right to the point. Bing, bingo, bingo. This is the reason. This is why. This is what's going on. So
Why do you think that Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds didn't do that well then? Like, what is your opinions on that movie? Because I know, like, I've talked to different sets of people, and a lot of people were just like, Ryan Reynolds at Green Lantern just wasn't it, right? No disrespect to Ryan Reynolds as an actor or anything like that, right? Obviously, Ryan Reynolds is a great actor. I'm just saying a lot of people didn't receive it well.
Well, first of all, Ryan Reynolds, he did good at it. Probably, maybe if they had a different one to play Green Lantern, maybe because Ryan brought the little spin, the little comic spin, that made it hilarious or funny in a way, which is what he's perfectly good at doing. That's why he was perfect for
Deadpool? Yeah.
So, but maybe in that sense, they probably needed a little bit more person that was probably a little bit more serious. But the storyline was, in my opinion, perfect or was right on point. So that's
Okay.
why I like. And I think honestly, when you have superheroes that's out there or movies that's out there, and you come up with something else, and it's alterish, like alter egoish, like you have Marvel going on now, you pull up with DC, and you bring out the Green Lantern. It's kind of like everybody doing the comparison, so the comparison is not going to even up. So their mindset is already set on something. So if they don't see what they see previously, they're going to be like, thumbs down.
True. Something that I recently feel as if it's happened with Marvel a lot, right? Where you put something out, whereas like you put, for example, Infinity War, Endgame, all that stuff, right? They set a standard,
Right.
and once you set the standard, if you don't keep that standard, some people are
Bash it.
not gonna stand for it a lot. But granted, doesn't make an excuse to make bad TV shows and bad movies,
True.
because there's been a lot. And honestly, I could segue into our next person within talking about bad movies in general, because your next person that you chose, which was your villain, was MODOK, right? And just talking about that in general, the reason I say bad movies, because in my personal opinion, MODOK had recently appeared in Ant-Man Quantumania, and that movie was, I gotta be honest, it was more or less, I think it was a tough watch.
It was a joke.
And it wasn't terrible, but the storyline, the writing on it just doesn't make sense to me. That's just my personal opinion.
Joke.
I don't understand that. But anything else before we move on Green Lantern? Anything else that you want to bring into the table before I move on to your supervillain? I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna ask you more questions about them,
Okay.
obviously, so you'll get more chances like to talk about Green Lantern and MODOK and all that stuff. But anything that you wanted to add while I was adding the information, or anything that you wanted to just say in general?
Well, when you was describing Green Lantern, you just got me all hyped up, basically. I was like, yes, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying?
You want to give you a breakdown of Green Lantern?
Well, it'll piggyback mostly of what you said. So it kind of just adds a little bit to it, though. But, which is why I like him, why I picked him. And now, like I said before, Marvel, honestly, between the two comic book giants, Marvel is my favorite. Grew up on Marvel, right? But if I'm picking a superhero, I have plenty of Marvel superheroes. But this guy here,
On DC side.
on DC side,
Yeah.
I have to say he tops. I hate to say it. I do have a favorite in Marvel, but this guy here, because you said they do this, they have their particular roles they play,
Mm-hmm.
but they got their powers, so to speak, haphazardly. And it's a little different from Green Lantern, because Green Lantern's power source is in search of
Mm-hmm.
someone that can withhold this power, that's worthy, so to speak. The other heroes are kind of like, oh, this happened. Oh, this accident.
Science.
Oh, yeah, this
money.
explosion. Or, oh, this alien just happened to fall to the earth. So it's kind of like,
symbiote.
you know what I mean? Or he's, he's blue and red. But I'm just,
Yeah.
not mentioning any superhero names. What did it say? He became the favorite because, and he's all powerful. And so, which is great. But you have to be worthy, So that's what caught me too. It's like, this ring doesn't just pick out anybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I want to just add to that.
Yeah, he's special. We know he's special. Don't worry.
Also, it's like the inner core of his strength is through, which we'll get into later probably, is that, it's his, you said everyone has a desire to do something good. And they're all source or whatever's driving them is the main thing, the main drive of his power. So he has what they have, but to do the right thing is basically a will to do the right thing. I want to stamp out injustice. I want to stamp out evil, and so forth and so on. So for some superheroes, it's like, oh, it happened. Oh, there's a robber, and we're listening to the band with the radio, and now we got to go get him. That's fine and dandy, but when it's at his door, there's no question. It's like,
He has to do it.
We have to do this. It's going to
Yeah.
it's happening, because I will not allow anything.
You're not gonna have a moment where he's gonna sit there and think one thing or the other.
Exactly.
It's
He's jumping to it.
It's one thing and one thing only. If
Yeah.
this doesn't go that way,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight for it in any type of way. But
Okay.
no, I respect it. But with that being said, I'm gonna go into your supervillain that you chose. I'm sorry. Before we can I gotta know. I could understand why you chose Green Lantern. Obviously, for anyone that's listening, like, granted, yes, I'm acting like it's a guest, but at the end of the day, this is my dad. We talk about this stuff all the time,
True
right?
that.
So at the end of the day, I can understand Green Lantern,
Right.
right? MODOK?
Wait,
Like, why? Out of all the supervillains that you could choose, MODOK. I'm not saying that he's terrible. Don't get me wrong, but like,
there is another, but I chose MODOK instead. Um,
like you even DC wise, like you could
Yeah.
have went so many different MODOK. Instead, I mean, this is part of my information part, but like he's a Marvel character.
yeah,
But like Marvel wise, DC wise, anything. Like you could have went outside of Marvel and DC, you probably still found a better villain. Like,
right. Of course. And well, I don't pay attention to too many other comics, but yeah, you're right. Excuse me. What does well? Let's just start off by MODOK. The meaning of MODOK.
what does it stand for?
Acronyms. Yes.
What does it stand for? I think I
Yes.
have it here. And I think I wouldn't be able to like not have it here. If not, oh my god.
Well, let me just do it anyway. All right. The M is for mental. The O is for
Go ahead.
organism. The D is for design. And the O only. And the K is for killing. He's a mental organism designed only for killing. It's madness.
I mean, it's true. It's true. I'm not like trying to play down your choice. I just want to know why. Cause like I said,
Well-
I know you.
Mhm.
So I just don't understand why.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But at the
I'll
end
tell
of
you
the
why.
day-
You want to know why? Because of
Why?
my other villain. The other villain would have been the Brain.
From
Marvel, right? That's Marvel, the Brain.
the
right?
brain?
Yeah, he's got he's the one with the gamma rays, which gave him a very powerful mind. He's the
Oh.
Green Man for the brain. He's the Hulk for the brain.
When you said brain, the first person I thought of was
No,
that's
DC.
not- I thought about DC. I thought about
Nelson and-
Flashes. That's not.
That's not
It's
his name then.
not his name. What's his name?
Shame on me. Shame on me. The leader.
The leader.
The leader. How can I forget that? Because we used to
That-
joke around with that even as kids. We had a friend. But anyway, we called him the leader. But yes, the leader because of his brain. That's what it was. That's
Okay.
the segue. Because of his brain, his evil capacity to think of many different ways to destroy stuff. It's just madness. It's the direct opposite. That's all. It's
Fair-
my opposite.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Enough. So let's go into it a little bit, right? Let's talk about MODOK really quick. I'm just gonna preface from now. Like, granted, I know about MODOK, but finding information on MODOK,
Was
they
difficult.
don't make it easy. They do not make it like.
True
Granted,
that.
like you really have to read the comics in order to like get in on MODOK. But overall, the most I got was MODOK's abilities is he could shoot blasts out of his chair offensively and defensively.
Mhm.
But MODOK, basically to describe everyone what MODOK is, MODOK basically like this in a very simple way to describe it. He's a guy with a humongous head and a small body sitting in a floating chair. Right? So
Mhm.
if you could picture that in your head, obviously you can look it up yourself. He's a guy with a humongous head, small body, and a floating chair.
Mhm.
Right? But I looked up moral code, right? But for villains, 9 times out of 10, there really isn't that many moral codes. But for him, there's not really any moral code because he was just strictly made for destruction. Like you
Mhm.
said, mechanism designed only for killing, right? But overall, MODOK didn't really have a moral code in that sense. As far as that, his first appearance. Did I go into the first appearance of Green Lantern? Hold on. I think I had it here. No, I did not. But the first appearance of MODOK. You think you can guess the first appearance of MODOK in the comics?
No.
What year?
No, all I know, I have to be honest though. As a kid, reading, I can't. It's a long time ago, so memory fades. But as reading him in the comics, he was also like one of Captain America's, I think, foes, so to speak. So that's the only thing I really history as far as me.
Yeah.
You know.
It said that one of his motivations was to gain the cosmic cube,
Yes.
right? That I looked up
Hired by
motivation.
AIM.
Like
Yeah.
he just had that was his main thing to do, right?
Okay. Go ahead.
What's it called? We'll get into it. We'll get
All right.
into it. His first appearance in the comics was in September 1967. It was the first time MODOK came into the comics. MODOK, and as far as like film goes, MODOK has only appeared in one in live action film from Marvel, which was the recent one,
Right.
right? In
Okay.
Ant-Man Quantumania, right? And then I also have the current storyline in the comics right now, right? Whereas it says that at the end of World War Hulk, he has a clone of himself made called the Superior MODOK,
Mhm.
right? Who joins the Secret Avengers and clashes with the X-Men, right?
Okay.
That's what the current comic storyline is saying. But that's basically all the information that I could get on MODOK as a whole.
Mhm.
But
Let me share something then.
Go ahead.
Also, as you mentioned, yes, he was also involved with the Hulk. Hulk hated him. You know, when things are funny in front of the Hulk, he hates it. So he's like the little puny man in screen. So, you know, Hulk just wanted to just rip him apart. He couldn't get his hands on him because he was very evasive. According also to some history, he didn't start off like that. He was like a scientific nerd or whatever, and no one took him seriously. And that was a failed experience in dealing with the cube. So he had an accident. And I think it wasn't MODOK, it was MODOC, right? And
yeah, it did change.
yeah, for the mental organism designed only for computing.
Yeah.
And once it blew up, I guess, and became a dangerous threat, he decided to flip.
Fun fact, right? The way they named him in general, not like I'm saying when they were creating the character, they had got the acronym, I believe, from some type of the army. Like there was an acronym, I forgot what it exactly was, but there was an acronym that literally had it word for word, but it was originally, I think it was computing, and they
Mhm.
just flipped it.
Because
to
once
killing.
once he got it, he turned on them. It was like that's what he
That's what
he
he
was
was.
set to do. It was,
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill you
I'm
all.
gonna kill
So it's
everybody.
like, this guy's madness. Pure madness.
But that's essentially everything on MODOK. Now I do want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not gonna get into the second segment just yet
Mm-hmm.
because I think we're gonna hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
But thoughts on MODOK and yeah, I've seen that before.
Insane.
What's it called? Thoughts on MODOK in Ant-Man Quantumania.
Really? This really goes back against what I just said about what I like to see in the theaters. Unfortunately, I knew he was there. Like you catch the trailers or whatever, you catch an
A
Easter
glimpse.
egg or something like that. I just didn't know what they did with him. And for all of this,
He was Darren in the beginning. I think the
Yeah.
guy's name was like Darren Cross. I forgot his name.
yeah, and then now he's this, and it's disappointing to be honest with you because MODOK is pure evil, pure design just for killing. It's just there's no turning MODOK. MODOK is and I just don't like it when they just reduced him to such, and he's powerful, and he's his puppet. Since when is MODOK somebody's puppet? That's not realistic. So that was disappointing. Also, maybe like a Cole role, like if he was Cole, evil ruler, with this version of Kang, I guess that would have been great, but it's just disappointing altogether. I was totally, if they could have done without him in that part of that film.
I gotta say, if anyone went to go see that movie and didn't know who MODOK was in the comics, quite literally has a completely different depiction of him, which kind of bothers me. It's like because we have what we know MODOK to be, right? Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, right? I used to be one of those guys that was like based a lot of my knowledge on the films and didn't read the comics. That's how I got into the superhero side of things, right? And obviously I started like looking up different things, trying to understand different things and things of that nature. But when it comes to MODOK, right,
Mhm.
he's just nowhere near what he is in the comics or what he is in the movie. Like it's so far, so far fetched from the two. Where you have one thing in the comics where you have one guy that's basically a system made for killing, literally what it says, but just straight destruction,
Mhm.
nothing more,
Mhm.
nothing less. And you go into the movie, and you have this guy that you can't even look at seriously because one, he looks so silly, right, as it is. There's a lot of jokes being made, right? And then on top of it all, they change him over to be some type of good guy, and then he just ends up dying. Because and also the final line before he died,
Yeah, what was that?
he's like, I'm MODOK and I'm not a like
Oh.
I'm not gonna say in the podcast 'cause I'm not trying to get in trouble. I'm not trying to get in trouble with my teacher. But what's it called? But like he's like, I'm MODOK and I'm not this.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Mhm.
And it's like, bro, respectfully, from a guy that's supposed to be system made for just straight destruction, to that, it's just so far off.
Mhm.
So far off.
Right.
So I just wanted to get your opinion on that because I think that was awful. I think it was actually really bad.
I think the problem is also for comic buffs is that, we see a movie and we're like, yay, we get all happy, we get excited, and we take it for what's in front of us. And unfortunately, without history, we don't know what's in front of us. We just take it, right? And when you said his appearances goes back as far as the 60s, it's kind of like, there you go. Here you have a villain as old as MODOK, and you see him for the first time, and what is he? He's a TV screen that you're throwing tomatoes at. So it's kind of like,
What's going on?
what's going on? But my voice is with an audience that's too small because it's not appealing or it's not geared toward that. So, and I gave them all a chance. I'll give all these movies a chance because it's today. Let's see it. Okay, fine. Let's see what you got. But once you start changing storylines, start changing origins, and you don't add to it, like you really don't beef it up. And let's face it, I think it's because production can't have certain material.
See, that's the thing though. If you can't have certain material, don't make the movies. I don't agree with that. Can't side that. Cause what are we making the movies for then?
Yeah.
It's like your job is to take what we saw in the comics and bring it to life. That's quite literally what it is, right? If there's certain things that you are too afraid of to show in film or don't want to show in film, right? Because nowadays you can pretty much show darn near anything in film.
Yeah, but everything's oversensitive. Everything's overplayed. When as a kid growing up, reading those comics, there was nothing taken out of it. That was straight up boom, blast, boom, kill, violence, boom. Bugs Bunny was violent. Everything, things that happened on these comics and these was there. I mean, it was funny for us, right? And reading the comics, there was nothing removed. There was nothing there also that was like I would say not friendly or family friendly neither. It was a comic book. No one said it was rated. It was just a comic book. So, and you're talking superhero comic books, right? Just, keep it there. So in the movies, why don't you just do the same thing? I get it. Why don't you just play it over? What are we hiding? What are we afraid of?
To be honest, I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you. It's just so much more that goes into it. But at the end of the day, I just don't think what they did with him in that movie was especially like that's his first appearance. That's going to go down as his first appearance in a movie, in a live action movie. And that's what you did. That's what you did as a whole.
Yeah.
So as a whole, that basically concludes the first segment, which was the informational or the background segment of the two supernatural people that you chose, which was Green Lantern, the superhero, and MODOK, the supervillain.
I did remember one last thing.
Go ahead.
I apologize.
Go ahead before we move on. Go ahead.
Well, when you mentioned his first appearance in Cinematic, right? Cinema was yes. But he was in the there was a storyline they had in cartoon version.
That's why I put emphasis on live action.
Live action. Okay.
Yes,
great,
that's
great.
what it was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go into the cartoon aspect of it.
Which is more realistic though.
The thing is though, you could say more realistic, but when we say realistic, what are we really talking about at that point? Because cartoons is not realistic. Like
But
realistic is live action.
Penny
Like,
to character, so to speak.
it's more catered to his character, 100%. But when I'm not gonna lie to you, when you have someone like that type of character, it's extremely hard to make that live action. Like I said, it's a guy with a humongous head and a body the size of my pinky in a floating chair. How do you make that a real life thing? Granted, we do have the technology and we do have the quote unquote movie magic to make that happen now.
Mhm.
And I think they did, but when they did, I think the design on him could have been a lot better. Like the head itself, it was just one big round. It was just like,
TV.
yeah, it's like you just took his head and just enlarged it. It's like it could have been, I don't know, like veins on his head, anything like that. He just looked more sinister, but it's just, it looked more like, if I had to describe it, it looked more like kiddish, if you will. Like anyone could watch it. And there's nothing wrong with it being that anyone could watch it, but it's just, that's not the character that we know.
No. Like he can be controlled with a remote control.
Exactly. It's just, he doesn't scare me at all. Like I look at that, I'm like, all right, this guy's not gonna do anything to me. If I'm gonna be honest, when Thanos came into the MCU, it was like, oh man, like this is a problem. I felt that. I think that's the best thing about villains when it comes to film. When you can feel a different way when you see these people, it's like, you're different.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, you're a problem. Like
That's that dude.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. You're gonna be an issue for everyone coming and the time to come.
Yeah.
Right. I won't you make me want to get into it, but I'm not gonna.
What's that?
It's for example.
Get into it. Get
like,
into it.
No. For example, we're talking about MODOK, mind
All right.
you. It's Green Lantern MODOK, but
Okay.
for example, Kang, right?
Mm,
When he first came in Loki, right? When he first made an appearance in Loki
mhm,
as He Who Remains.
mhm,
When I first saw him, I was like, okay. I'm like, this might be an issue. This might be a serious, serious problem. Right. And then once everything happened in Loki, I'm not going to fully spoil the entire show. If you haven't watched it,
mhm,
definitely go watch it. One of the better things that Marvel has put out in their
Mhm.
phase 5. Yeah, phase 5. But like overall, like when I first saw him, it was like, okay, this guy could be a problem. But then when everything had happened, you know exactly what I'm speaking on, right? It was like, oh gosh, like we have a serious problem on our hands. Then the next time I see him is in Ant-Man Quantumania, and he loses to Ant-Man.
And
Granted, there's no guarantee that he's fully gone,
right.
but this was supposed to be the Kang the Conqueror. The one that you see in the film, the one that you saw in the comics, he had the same exact suit, right? It was perfect. Honestly, I love the design on him.
Mm-hmm.
But this was supposed to be the one that gave us an issue.
Mm-hmm.
This was supposed to be the superior
Mhm.
of all the Kangs,
Mhm.
right? He was supposed to be the biggest problem. And he loses to Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's because MODOK helped.
It's like you
The
have
TV
to-
screen helped them.
At what point does that make sense? No disrespect to Ant-Man in any type of means, like shape or form, but like he's clearly not one of the biggest superheroes in the MCU, right? And you're gonna have him defeat Kang. I'm not worried about Kang anymore. If Kang does come back, I'm not scared. I'm not worried at all, right? When they were building up Thanos, right? They were building up Thanos in the sense we first saw him we first saw the Gauntlet after I believe it was the first Avengers film, right? You saw the Gauntlet at first. Then you had another situation, I believe it was after Age of Ultron, I want to say, where the post-credit scene was, he said, fine, I'll do it myself. When I saw that, I was like, oh,
But
snap.
which wasn't the one when they caught his little side profile and he smiled? Which one was that?
That, I believe, was, was that after Avengers? I might be getting them mixed up.
Guardians?
No, it was never Guardians, I don't think.
Guardians.
It was Guardians? It was Guardians?
Yeah.
Dang. Well,
That's 2.
in that case, shout out to James.
Yeah.
Shout out to James. I'm gonna shout out to James. There's applause on here somewhere. Hold on. Oh, you can't even hear. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna get it. Hold on.
Yeah, there we go.
That's loud. Shout out to James. James is in the background. James knows Marvel as well, right? So shout out to James. It was in Guardians, right? But you get these little like snippets of Thanos, right? And then it comes down to Infinity War. And at that point, they throw you right into it, and you realize how dominant this guy is. And then by the end of the movie, we all know what happens, right? But they did such a good job in my opinion. Again, I have to emphasize that because not
Mhm.
everyone's always gonna agree.
Mhm.
But they did such a good job on building him up.
Right.
And then like, you had a feeling like, oh man, this is not gonna end well. With Kang, the guy's supposed to be the big bad. It's like Ant-Man again. Like I said, Ant-Man. That's just my
With
opinion.
He Who Remains, I was like, okay, this is a version I don't know, but it looks like it's gonna go in a good
It's gonna
direction.
go- exactly.
It's a version that's okay, fine. Let's see the big bad version, and then the big bad version was tiny as a microdot, but he had all this power, and poof, nothing.
Just like that, just gets
Like
destroyed.
TV. Okay.
But let's go ahead, and that concludes the first segment. So shout out to that. Let's go into the second segment, which is basically, I mean, I already kind of introduced you, but now this is kind of deep diving more into you and asking you a little bit more questions. But shout out to my guest, Eric Hines.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing out.
Thank you for having me.
Really quick, just a little bit of icebreaker. Give me one fun fact about yourself, just in general, just anything. If you could think about any fun fact,
Fun factor?
yeah,
I
fun
get-
fact. Let people know about you.
Oh,
Fun fact.
oh,
If you,
fun fact.
mm-hmm. Caught you off guard.
Yeah, you did.
Exactly. This is exactly why I,
I don't know.
asked that.
I don't know if this is a fun fact or not, but I'll say this one. Currently, about a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I actually dressed up as the Green Lantern at a party.
Wow. Yes, you did. I
Yes.
totally forgot about that.
Yes.
Oh
We
my
celebrated
gosh.
big time birthday party.
You just was
and
Green
I dressed up
Lantern.
as Green Lantern. That's right.
Oh my! Did you have the?
In fact, I have 2 costumes as
Yeah.
the Green Lantern.
Did you even have the mask for that?
I had the mask too.
I didn't even see you. Oh yeah, you
Yeah, I
did.
had the
You
mask,
did.
had the mask on.
You did.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a good fun fact. Good fun fact. Now,
Yeah.
just for the audience and everyone listening, give a quick like background history or anything about yourself. Like, I'm laying it out for you, right? Just explain who you are,
Well,
everything about.
I will say this much. I'm going to say a brief history basically on comic books has always been a part growing up and everything. And reading the comic books, bringing these characters to life as a kid was really true fantasy. And to the point where I would pretend to be one of these comic book heroes. I even make up my own. I'll switch the Iron Man's color around. I'll be my own Iron Man. And so in doing so, pretending to be these comic book heroes was imaginative, all on my own in my own room, all by myself. But to carry it on, to keep these comic books, to keep reading them. But then again, there was a period where it stopped, and it's this big, huge gap, and you miss out. You get left behind as to what's going on in the comic book world and all these different. Then I found out there was different versions of different repeated stories, and I'm like, Superman died? What? Who is Superman? So it was like, this is incredible. This is what happened. And then to meet up with different friends as you go on to find out, they'll feed you information too. So it was a journey for that as far as comic goes. So in that aspect of history, more about myself, I've always been a comic book buff. Always loved heroes. Always loved both DC and Marvel, but overall, Marvel's up for us. I will say this also that growing up, Luke Cage was in comparison to Superman.
Stop it, bro.
It was. He was the
All right, what are we
comparison to
doing now?
Superman.
What are
He
we
was
doing now?
Marvel's
Not
Power Man.
Superman.
He was power.
Yeah,
he's
but
Power Man.
all
One thing he
right.
couldn't do was fly and shoot razor
right.
beams out of his
all
eyeballs.
right, Man of Steel at most.
That's what he's
Like,
called, the Man of Steel.
Yeah, but like
Power Man.
you can't do that.
But that's what he was.
Luke Cage and Superman.
But that's what he was.
His skin is
impenetrable.
impenetrable. You can't. What's it called? You can't. That's all you can do. But like realistic, and he's really strong. Superman.
Well,
Come on.
Superman topped him in strength, and Superman topped him in speed. Superman topped him in laser
eyes.
and in flight.
Like
Right?
he would destroy him in the fight. It would be done.
What could he do to him?
What could Luke Cage do to him?
All right. I gave you this much. The only problem with Luke Cage, though, you hit him really good, really hard, he will get knocked out.
That's what I'm saying.
His brain will talk around in his head like, and he'll get knocked out. But I'm just saying, there was no other comparison Marvel had to Superman until we started reading up on the Hulk. Basically. Everybody else, Superman could top, but can't, These
You
two
can
characters
top-
would give him a real run for his money. The Hulk and Luke Cage would give Superman a run for his money.
You don't think Thor would get Superman a run for his money?
I got support. So
Yo, nah. James over here trying to get in on it, bro. Nah, James.
I got support. So
Nah, I'm
with
gonna
that,
talk
I'm
with you
encouraged.
after. I'm gonna
I'm
talk with
even
you
more
after.
encouraged now. So but I'm just saying, but I don't know how we stumbled down that road, but still, never.
Yeah, how we get here? I asked you to give background information about yourself, and now we're over here.
yeah,
Luke
that was-
Cage, Luke Cage, and freaking
Okay, yeah,
Superman.
that was part of my background. Was when we started reading DC, we was kind of like we weren't trash DC, but we was like, what is this? In comparison to all, like, who are these people? But they still had great, characters and whatnot. But Marvel was the run,
Marvel is still
still the run.
and will always be that source.
I don't know. Our generation gets smarter and smarter. I'm telling you right now, they're running through the Marvelverse stuff that we've already seen and punching holes in it. So what that's going to do? That's going to create an anticipation now, an expectation now that's probably even better. And if these guys don't catch up,
But really quick, you gave background on why like you got to superhero. I want the people to know about you though. Like Eric Hines. Like you don't have to go into too much depth. I'm not asking you to give me your social security number or nothing like
Okay.
that. If you gave like a brief background about yourself. Who is Eric Hines? Because there's people that don't know who you are. You know what I mean?
okay,
So,
I am a grown version of Eric.
all right. What is that?
I am
That-
that's a complete grown version of Eric Hines.
That's
And
a terrible
I'm a
explanation.
variant. I'm a future
No, you're
variant
not.
of Eric Hines.
Not even remotely close. No, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
No, you're not.
So in the future, you'll be sitting here, and your son will be sitting there, and you'll be going through this, and you'll be
Yeah.
like, this is,
You're so all right. Yeah, we'll see about that. I highly disagree, but not highly disagree. But, anyways, really quick, I got a couple questions for you.
Mhm.
First things first. Why have you chosen these characters? We kind of went into it a little bit, but you could just answer it just to really hone in on that question. Why'd you choose these
Well,
characters?
for-
Green Lantern,
For
MODOK.
Green Lantern, Green Lantern, his will. The green color of the ring represents will. There are many colors and many rings, right? I think 9 in total. But obviously, DC started off with green, with him being Green Lantern and everything else, and they gave us history later on as to the 9 leaders. What they were called.
Their
but
names?
No, the leaders. There are like these ancient leaders that created this whole thing, and each Green Lantern patrols a sector in the universe. And obviously our sector Earth, I think it's 316, I'm not too sure, but our sector Earth is where we got our Green Lantern and everything like that. So the war, why he got chosen, it started with Hal and different ones. It just was a fantastic storyline, and I'm curious. And even though there was a weak point, like, he had to gain strength overall and time, but still it was always interesting to follow, to watch. And I think when you compare all the ring colors, Will has to be the strongest. It makes sense, because what is stronger than your own will? You can only defeat yourself. So if your will to be against evil, your will to be against greed, your will to be against fear, your will against everything else, even though other opposing rings, it's crazy. Crazy power.
Fair enough.
And it's real. It's like his ring makes things real. You feel it. If he makes it a fist and punch you, you're gonna feel it.
It's
If he
gonna
makes it
feel
a
like
gun
a-
and shoot you, you're gonna feel it. It's like
You're not just gonna
real.
feel it. You're gonna
die.
Yeah, you're
So-
done. You're finished.
so. It's like with his power, he can go through the walls. It's impenetrable also. So it's like everything.
It makes you think, how do you defeat someone like that, realistically? Like, if you really max out the power, unless you just shoot the ring off. Like,
Well-
that's it, though.
Well, let's be honest. There was a skit to a video game,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was all over the internet, right? And it was the future version of Lex Luthor, right? And this guy is, we need him at the table. You need to see him at the table.
Well, I mean, I couldn't, man.
Anyway, at any rate, it's 3, right? 4. That's
Mhm.
4. So anyway, he tells the story. This is huge battle going on, different villains, gets the superheroes, whatever. And I think it's Black Adam. And was Black Adam? Black Shazam. Whatever.
Well, Black Adam is like, yeah, like, it's like a different, like,
Well, he was one of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's the reverse Flash, but he's like reverse Adam, whatever. Reverse Flash, whatever.
reverse Shazam, if you're
Reverse
trying to,
Shazam,
yeah,
right?
trying to
And,
get it. I know what you're trying to get at.
Yo, he grabbed his ring, and he was like, Shazam! And yo,
Just got rid of it.
I was upset.
Oh, wait, are you talking about that video
Yes.
that we've seen before?
Yes.
Where they're like all
the
fighting?
cutscene for the
Yeah,
video game.
and they're trying to stop him, and he literally grabs him, and they're trying to stop it, and he's like Shazam, and he just
Yes, everything
gets rid of him.
Yeah. That
Black Adam's another
really-
one that's like,
Yeah.
that's Black Adam is crazy.
That was sick. And they were all losing.
Mm-hmm.
They were all losing.
They're
one
all
by
getting
one.
beat up.
Yeah. So that really got me. And I'm like, wow. So there is a way, somehow, you have to be some sort of overbearing, powerful being to stop that.
If you could
'Cause
just if we're putting a realistic term,
realistically, no.
all you gotta do is get close enough to you to grab your ring. That's it. If that ring comes off, you are just a man.
Right.
Everything that you have is gone. If I just somehow get it off of you or I break it, you're done.
But it plays back to how you got it, though. It found you. You put it on. You're the only one that can take it off. That ring is only coming off when you die. Not to say that they cannot die, though. Apparently, because that's how he got it. The other one, his predecessor had died, right? Was killed, right? Because they didn't know how to defeat something else that was an ultimate for them, right?
Mhm.
Like an inner being that was part of them that turned evil, right? Sinestro, right? If anybody didn't know the history. And in doing so, he became, he got the ring, found out, yada, 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 right? So he's now the new Green Lantern. It's just sad to realize that something like that can really take you out, even with all the willpower that you got. That's why I say it's unrealistic.
Shazam. Okay.
By Shazam. It's like, what kind of willpower now all of a sudden you don't have? That's what kind of got me.
Fair enough. My next question for you is, what's your favorite scene or memory of Green Lantern? I really wanted to go into scene, but if you didn't have a scene to remember, there's not much. I guess you could say live action wise. There's a lot comic wise. I mean, not comic wise. Animated wise. But if you don't have a scene, you can go into a memory.
Yeah, for me though, I have to be very honest to your listeners too. Is that memory plays a key. So you have to jog my memory, right?
Yeah.
Because I watched the comic book series. I watched that movie by Hal, whatever his name is again, Reynolds. can't think of a specific one unless you want to feed me one. That's about it. But
If-
I usually like the overcoming power when he just, you know, gets into his will and sheer will just rules the day.
Once he hits like the not peak of himself, once he gets to like
tap into.
what he needs to tap into.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like it's like yes, let's go, buddy, let's go, let's rock. you
So
know?
when Green Lantern's at his best, basically, that's
Yeah.
really, that would be like your best memory or
Yeah.
best scene.
yeah,
Fair enough. It doesn't have to be a specific scene or anything like that. If you just have
Yeah.
like a memory, it's like just seeing him like.
yeah. So it'll probably be like an hour later, and I'll be like, oh yeah, but right now it's like nice.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The next question I have for you is, what is your favorite thing that Green Lantern can do and why? Because he could do many things. What's your favorite thing he can do and why?
It's one of the most least thing he does, and that is float in the air.
Are you for real?
Yes.
Is that because he can
I mean,
fly?
at least powerful thing that he does like when he's in battle is that's because he can float midriff. Whoop. Just hang out there.
What?
Yeah.
Everyone can fly
And
over.
I like the green light that comes over him too, like a little green armor.
Why? Do you have a reason, or just
I just
like
like it.
you just like the way it looks?
I like the way it looks. It looks good.
All right, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough then. All right, the reason is just because he can fly. I mean, or he can float. I guess you can levitate. The next question I have for you is, what were your thoughts on the latest Green Lantern movie?
Wait, let me back up really quick.
Uh-oh.
There's been a moment where he's been caught off guard, but it doesn't stop him. It's almost like that ring is still active even when you don't see the glow. So he'll get hit like surprise, boom. Also you see the glow, boom, and he's revitalized. Or
Almost as if it's protecting him at the same time.
yeah. So I like that as well.
Okay. All right. So, what is your thoughts on the most recent live action film of Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds? It was a long time ago. I'm not so.
Yeah, and I was
Which is
thinking
kind of
about-
sad.
I
when
was
you
thinking
think
about watching it again, to be honest with you.
I
but
was too.
I liked everything. I liked the storyline, like the very beginning. They like got it tight. They could have got rid of. You said least, or what did I like about it?
No. What was your thoughts on it? Yeah.
I thought I thought they did a little too much with the joking. Like it took him a while to get serious with it. I thought that Sinestro should have been better played. They made Sinestro out to be this big, huge, monstrous, cloud-like figure, and I'm like, what? That's not Sinestro. And where is the fear ring? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is? They should have made him real, like a real, true, same-size villain, or fight hand-to-hand combat. But overall, I liked it. I mean, I know a lot of people thumb down it, but I liked it though. I liked the action and everything.
Fair enough. And the next question I have for you, which is the last Green Lantern question. I got 3 MODOK questions for you. What is your favorite villain Green Lantern has faced?
Right now, as far as I know, would be Sinestro. When Sinestro found out and everything gets revealed, it was like, wow. It was like when he found out about a different ring, and it was a fear ring, which is yellow is his color,
Mm-hmm.
and he went off. It almost made you really, truly think that there's no way Green Lantern's coming back out of it. But you kind of knew, is that because I'm sitting there looking at him like, this is just fear. Like, you got will. What are you waiting on?
Come on.
Stop it already. Just be like, what?
Fight through it.
Fight through it, man. It's like, what's greater, your fear or your will? But I understand fear can grip you, right? We get that. But Sinestro's no joke. Sinestro basically brought down the entire Lantern Corps. Darn near single-handedly destroyed the entire Lantern Corps. He had to get out of the way for him to rebuild or do anything all over again. And he released the other rings. And his dudes just...
He's just causing havoc.
Yes, indeed. So, and that's why they got rid of all the other rings and kept Will, because the other rings was just not needed. It just caused too much devastation across the universe. Talking Universal. So, yeah, Sinestro's clearly the worst enemy.
Fair enough. And then now going into MODOK, we kind of already went in on this,
Yeah.
right? I'm not going to ask this question again. I already
It's
asked
not
you.
going to be too much,
what,
really.
What were your thoughts on MODOK and Ant-Man Quantumania? We already kind of discussed that.
Yeah.
It's terrible. What is your favorite thing about MODOK? And then the next question I'll just ask you already as it is. What's your favorite scene in memory? Same thing for Green Lantern, just flip for MODOK.
Well, okay. Again, memories.
Memories vague.
My enemy right now. But nevertheless, the reason I can at least pick him still because of his super evil genius. So he's
What the?
he,
Yo, what is
he's clearly Clearly, that's another problem I got with these when they bring the comics into real life cinema. Is like
He
no one
killed-
dies in the comic books.
Yeah, you killed me with that. I was like, that's super evil. Genius.
Yeah.
The corn dog.
It's
Oh God.
I got that also from a comic, Bugs Bunny Evil Genius. Guy. So, but anyway, that's another thing I don't like. Was that these guys die, and I'm like, what? How do you die? And anyway, that's I guess because they didn't die back in the days, made me like them because they come back, and you didn't get tired of it. It's like this dude again, but he's got more arsenal than before. It's like he's more of a threat. And you see your hero out of breath, blood trickling out of his mouth, on the ground through rubble. But meanwhile, you got the evil genius guy, like rah. So he was one of them, constantly a thorn in Captain America and the Hulk's rear end. So that's one thing I like about him. Yeah, always finding a way to come back more evil than before. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's one thing I really truly remember, even in the comments, like, this guy again? So it was like,
Consistently just
like, there he is again.
There's a regen always.
Yeah,
It's like, bro.
the big head floating in the sky
Like,
with little
exactly.
arms. This dude is terrible.
What do you really think about it? Such a goofy character.
Because they didn't take muscle. I have to be honest. It didn't take muscle. It took his brain.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? And his will, his thoughts process to come up with evil ways. Not to influence anything, but it doesn't say he's just pure evil.
Yo, bro. But what's your favorite memory or scene of MODOK?
I can't. Definitely not today. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Nothing?
Antimania. What do you call that?
Quantumania, not
Quantumania.
Antimania.
Definitely not that. But
Dude said Antimania. That's how bad the movie was.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying Antimania is crazy.
Not to not talk about that, but Kang had all this power
Just to lose.
just to lose
Just to get like sucked into some orb. Like it's just what the heck?
in a zone where he couldn't get out of.
Then he finally gets close to getting out. I think he should have got out. I think they should let it all happen. And then at that point just end the movie.
Where's this version of the other Kang coming from?
My question is, how's this gonna work? Because when you really think about it, it's like like I said, he is the biggest one. He is the baddest one, right? He was so bad that other versions of himself had him casted out because they didn't want to deal with him anymore. They couldn't deal with him. He was too crazy. Too. The other ones will work together, but granted, with Kang, see something that we learned in Loki. That I'm kind of going to Loki season 2. Something that we learned with Loki, and something that we is that Victor Timely doesn't. Do you remember what it is? He does not do one thing. And what does he not do? Do you remember?
Oh, he don't.
He doesn't do partners.
Yeah.
He
I'm about to say
does
he doesn't
not
share.
He doesn't do partners. And like when you think of it like this, it's like if he doesn't do partners, how are all those Kangs going to work together? Right? That's one thing. If they want to rule everything all over, they're obviously all going to turn on each other. And then that's the only way I could see it coming back. Because like they're going to turn each other and someone's going to make a dumb decision and somehow they're going to let him out. And then the big bad one's going to come back and go crazy. But the thing is, it defeats the purpose because Ant-Man already defeated him. So if he comes back, like I'm not worried because none of these guys realistically want to work together. All of them want to be powerful. We learned that from He Who Remains. You had a bunch of people that went to war with each other that was all the same person, right? And then, mind you, now all of a sudden they're somewhat working together. That it's not going to add up. Eventually, someone's going to try to turn on someone's back, right? Someone's going to open that orb or whatever it was again. I forgot what it was called, right? And he's going to jump out, and then next thing you know, they're all going to fight. All the Avengers are going to probably try to fight him, and then they're going to win. And then it's like, the fact that I can predict it is something I don't like. Right? I didn't know what was going to realistically, maybe it's just a lack on my part, but I couldn't tell you what was going to happen in Infinity War. I couldn't tell you what was going to happen in Endgame. I could tell you on 100%, unless they somehow switch it up, that this is the only way they can go. Because if they don't go any other way, it doesn't make sense. Because like I said, if he jumps out and starts going crazy, it doesn't make any sense. Because Ant-Man just defeated you. What did you do in that space of time from here to here, whereas you came back out and now you're 10 times stronger? How? It makes no sense. So we like went into it like
Yeah, I know.
But I feel like
pushed it.
you had you know me. I can't get into it too much because we will be here all day long. But
Yeah, so the memory, there's no real memory of MODOK that I can say is the best. It's just that I did see him in comic series once on TV, which was great. I like that, and I like that MODOK. So And I remember them from childhood, and that's the one I like. So
Fair enough. But now I will move into the last segment. We're gonna test you, right? You chose and give me your phone actually, because
Nope.
no.
No
You like to
way.
cheat. You
No
like to
way.
cheat.
That's why I got it. It was all set up.
You come here. Give me, no, for real.
everything is set up.
Let me at least put it down. At least put it face down. You can't look it up. You can't
Okay,
look
wait.
it up.
I tell you one thing I'm gonna do.
No. You can't. You look it up things
wanna-
already as it is.
Right.
You're trying to save yourself. You gonna have to get it wrong.
Let me answer one question before you ask it.
What?
You ready?
Go ahead.
You ready for me to give you the answer before you ask it? You sure? Okay, here we
I'll
go.
see if it's one of my questions.
All right, it is.
I will tell you this. I believe, in
Mhm.
my opinion, I've made it like
Fair.
there's question that's like, okay, you have to think, and then there's question I think you can answer like this.
Okay, well, let me just get rid of this one.
Okay.
This is another reason why I love the Green Lantern.
Okay.
All right. In brightest day, in darkest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Oh my gosh. You're such
Yes,
a,
man.
You're such a corn
Yes,
dog.
yo, listen, beware my power. What?
I don't actually, you know what's crazy? I don't think that was one of my questions. Though.
Ah, bang.
All right, but flip it over.
All right.
Flip it over.
I don't have nothing ready though. There's
Nah,
nothing there.
All right,
I'm not-
look at.
I'm not
I can
gonna-
see his phone. I
I'm
can
not
see
gonna
his
touch
phone.
it. I won't
I can
touch
see
it.
his phone. All right, fair enough. Ready? I got 5 on Green Lantern, 5 on MODOK. Okay, so 10 in total. Let's see. Let's see if you could beat last episode's. Right? Let's see if you could beat it. Ready? So here's number 1, and it's multiple choice. I'll tell you when it's not multiple. I think are all the multiple choice? Not all of them are multiple choice, but most of them are. Right? So I that's easier as well for you. The last episode I didn't have multiple choice. Right? This one I did. So first one is, the original Green Lantern was part of what superhero team? A. Green Lantern Corps. B. Seven Soldiers of Victory. C. Justice League of America. D. Justice Society of America. Now think about this.
The first one?
Superhero team. I could see you can go both ways.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the what was the Justice League one?
And also, I'm not going to lie, I did look up these answers as well. So
What's the Justice League one you said?
it was A. Green Lantern Corps.
Mhm.
B. Seven Soldiers of Victory. C. Justice League of America. D. Justice Society of America.
Justice League.
So it was Justice Society of America.
Justice Society.
It was Justice Society.
That's the
of
fake
America.
one with freaking what's the super light girl and all that jazz? What's that age? He wasn't part of that. How?
I could pull it up for you if you want me to. I could pull it up for you.
Oh yeah, you're right. He was, because that's what's the that version they had on. I don't know. I watched that stuff too with Stargirl and.
Now, I could understand now that you also probably could have been confused by like Green Lantern Corps as well. The reason I emphasis on
Wait, that's a
superhero-
trick though, because
Exactly.
because
Is it? I told you
when
some of
you're
them.
a
some of them-
basic comic book buff, right? I'm not saying what I know is gold, but for what I know is there was no society. Justice League of Society.
You want me to pull it up? I could pull it
Oh,
up.
that's not the Superman one. That's the Stargirl one.
I could pull it up. Hold on. Let me find it.
I don't know. Wait. I want to go to my support.
All right, go ahead. While you do that, I'm gonna find it.
What's his name again?
Oh, you want to get James? This guy wants to get James. Oh my
That's my
gosh.
support group.
You know
there.
what? Why not at this point, James? I'm gonna ask you. Right? They can't hear you. Right
I want to
now.
know. I only
But
have one question.
you want one
what
question?
was first, Society or League?
So
Okay, I'm sorry. Two questions. Society was the one with Superman and Batman in them. Justice League Society.
I should bring James on at this point.
Shoo, shoo,
Eh,
ching.
So there you go.
You don't remember the cartoon?
No, I don't remember the
You remember the
cartoon.
cartoon, the old one though. Shoo, shoo, ching. I don't think it's Justice League.
It was Justice
Justice of
Society of America.
All right, whatever. Okay.
All right, ready?
So
So
what's
that's
the one with Stargirl?
that's 0 for. He's talking about Starfire, I think.
No, was she
Yeah,
Stargirl?
yeah,
And
yeah.
in
So he's
the
talking about
television
Starfire.
series, she's Stargirl.
Listen, let me get through my question. Let me
Yes,
get
it's a bogus show. I'm sorry. Didn't mean
Go
to,
ahead.
don't mean to trash the show, but I watched it anyway because I'm a superhero buff.
okay.
Bogus show, Stargirl, Robot Man, what's his name? Whatever his name was.
Cyborg?
The guy
Oh.
with Stargirl was the one with the staff. The cat girl, she had claws, whatever. Who else? Oh my God, this dude had the time watch thing, like a sand clock thing, gave him strength and power. One of the bad guys was the big guy. He was the Hulk version of their evil dude. Solomon Grundy, who somehow became good, which is weird. But you don't know the show? Oh, the show evades me.
All right, but no,
Go ahead.
you can't look it up.
No,
You
no, it's
can't
got nothing to do with your answers.
You gotta wait till I'm done with the trivia.
Go,
You gotta
go.
wait till I'm
Go.
done with the trivia.
That's right.
I can't ask
That's one of my superpowers.
I
Diversion.
can't. Listen,
Go ahead.
listen. You gotta put that down.
This is not for you though.
I know, but I don't trust you. Like you're gonna, you like to cheat. Yo,
I'm listening. Go ahead.
gotta put down the phone.
Okay. All right. Let me just.
I can't ask you another question until you put down the phone.
Actually, that's the name of the series, Stargirl.
All right, but regardless, you gotta put down the phone. I gotta move on to the next question. We're
All
an hour 10 into the pod right now.
All right. Okay. Need to write the villains or the crew of Stargirls, whatever.
All right.
But go
So
ahead.
you're 0 for 1 right now.
Shoot.
Number 2.
Go ahead.
I think this one's easy. Right? What city was home to the Silver Age Green Lantern? A. Central City. B. Coast City. C. Star City. D. Keystone City.
The Silver Aged. Silver Aged?
What city was home to the Silver Age Green Lantern?
Give me the.
A. Central City. B. Coast City. C. Star City. D. Keystone City. I could tell you right now before you answer, right? Because I'm not a big Green Lantern fan, but I can narrow it down because I know other superhero cities.
Right, because Star City was Flash, right?
I can't answer that.
Wait, give me the cities again. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. This is the last time.
Okay, go.
A.
Mhm.
Central City.
No,
B. Coast City. C. Star City.
no.
D. Keystone City.
It's either Coast or
Keystone.
Keystone. I'm gonna go with Coast.
The answer, that was correct. It was Coast City. Okay. All right. Here comes number 3, right? So you're 1 for 2. Good. You're on 50% right now.
All right.
All right. Who gave Hal Jordan his power ring? A. Superman. B. His father. C. A dying alien. Or D. An Egyptian ghost.
Really?
I told you I made it fair.
Okay. A dying alien.
No, it was Superman.
Superman gave Hal?
Yeah. I'm kidding.
I'm about
kidding.
to say no. Word. I'm about to say no way. No way.
No, what's it called? I wonder what their reaction was. But what's it called? No, it was C, a dying alien.
Right.
All right, number
What's
4.
the dying alien's name?
I didn't even go that deep. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I did read on it, but I forgot. I didn't go that deep.
That's okay. I
So,
forgot to.
2 for 3.
Mhm.
Okay. Number 4. What former Green Lantern Corps member was dishonorable discharged for abusing his power? Right? You have A. Vandal Savage. B. I can't even pronounce this name. I'm not even gonna lie to you. When I
Spell it.
wrote it down, it's Myrwhydden. It's like Mir Wyden. Like I can't pronounce
Okay.
it.
Go ahead.
Right? C. Dr. Polaris
Mm-hmm.
or Polaris, right?
Mm-hmm.
And D. Sinestro.
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 Sinestro. That's the answer. Sinestro.
That's your answer, and that's correct. It's
Yes.
Sinestro. And then number 5, the last of Green Lantern,
Mhm.
right? What was the name of the orb created by the Guardians of the Universe that contained the stray necromantic forces of the cosmos? Right? A. Starfire. B. Starfall. C. Stargate. D. Starheart.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
But you got the name of the guys that started it. What'd you call them again? What's the
I'll read you. What was the name of the orb created by the Guardians of the Universe
Guardians of the Universe?
that contained the stray necromantic forces of the cosmos? A. Starfire. B. Starfall. C. Stargate. D. Starheart.
I'm gonna go with D.
Starheart?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Hey,
There you go.
Bang.
4 for 5. 4 for 5. Now, so on Green Lantern, right? On Green Lantern, I gotta do the math. But on Green Lantern, you was 80%. 4 for 5.
Perfect.
Right? But as a whole, right now we gotta get through 10. Now
All
we
right.
gotta go to MODOK side.
All right, let's go MODOK.
I think MODOK side is a little bit
It's gonna-
easier.
Oh, really?
However, you have multiple choice. One of them is not. Wait, let me see. 2 of them is not multiple choice. So it's just you gotta give me the answer. But I'll be lenient on those.
Okay.
Right? I'll be lenient if you're close enough. Easy.
Okay.
Right? First one. Who is MODOK's alter ego? A. George Tarleton. B. George Thomas. C. Michael Tarleton. D. Michael Thomas.
It's George. I
Think
don't
it's
know which
George?
George.
Is it George Tarleton or George Thomas?
I'm gonna go with. Oh gosh, I just saw it too.
4 for 5. Trying to go. You just saw it. What does that mean? You was looking it up? Look at that.
No, well,
See? You cheat. Look at
no, I wasn't. No, it was not just now. It was just I know that there was two people involved in this whole thing, and I know one was his father, one was himself, obviously, and then there was another scientist at the lab. I get them all mixed up, but I'm gonna go with George Tarleton.
Final answer?
Yeah,
That's correct.
yeah.
George Tarleton. That's 5 for 6. You're moving.
Mhm.
You're moving different right now. You're saying you're good. You're
Mhm.
saying a good pace. You're saying a good pace, right? So number 2. What does MODOK stand for? Now, before you answer, right? If you don't get this right, it's gotta be. I think I need you to hit every single point because of the fact that you said it earlier in the show. If you
Uh-huh.
didn't say it earlier in the show,
Mm.
I would be more lenient. But because you said it, I know you know it for a fact. So you gotta.
Honestly, I don't.
No. But you said it. But you said it earlier in the show. So, what does MODOK stand for?
The problem is with the first one, to be honest with you, right? So I'm gonna go with this.
Mind you, it's an acronym. I'll give you that much. Obviously,
right. It's
know
just the
that, though.
first one that I'm stumbling on. I'm gonna go with multiple organism
Okay.
designed only for killing. Yeah,
Nah. You said multiple organism designed only for killing.
correct.
Final answer.
Yes.
Are you sure?
No, I told you the first one I'm gonna stumble on.
It's
but
wrong.
Yeah.
It's mechanized.
Mechanized. Where I
Mechanized.
get multiple from?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's the M, and this just threw me off.
Mechanized.
Mechanized.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give you a hint. Remember that for later. Okay. So you're 5 for 7. No. What?
2 for 7, right? 2 for.
2. No.
Oh, you're doing all of
I'm
them.
counting all of them together.
Oh, okay.
Right now you're 1 for 2 technically, but the other one you was 4 for 5.
So I'm 5 for 7.
So yeah, 5 for 7. Right? Here we go. Next one is MODOK is a reoccurring villain of who? Ready?
Mm-hmm.
A. Nick Fury. B. Iron Man. C. Captain America. D. Spider-Man.
Captain America.
Correct answer. I knew you knew that one too.
Yes. That
Alright.
memory served me perfect with that one.
That's 6 for 8.
Yeah.
Okay, you're moving on 80% right now. You're looking to go 80%.
80% must be my number.
Now this one right here. This one is it's hard. I will admit that,
Mm-hmm.
but I said it earlier in the show.
Mm.
So if you remembered, you'll know the answer. What year did MODOK make his first appearance? A. 1966. B. 1967.
Mm-hmm.
C. 1965.
Mm-hmm.
D. 1968.
Ooh. I'm going to go with 67.
67. Final answer.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You got it. All right. There you go. Okay.
I listen sometimes. I listen.
7 for 9.
Okay.
And this is for 8 for 10.
Mhm.
Last one. I gave you a hint earlier. I said, make sure you use it for later on. Where does MODOK's name originate from? We said this.
Mechanism. Organism.
Thank you. Organism.
That's I got to take it slow.
Organism.
Designed only for computing.
Final answer.
Wow, why you cringe like that? I got it wrong? Computing not the answer?
Final
It is
answer.
computing. Only for creating?
Final answer.
I'm gonna stick with computing. Is that computing or creating? I don't know.
You didn't mess up computing. You messed up the first word.
It's not.
It's not
Oh,
mechanism.
dang!
It's,
That
it's-
M again.
it's mental organism
Ah.
designed only for computing.
It's
So
the
I can't
M.
give you that one. It's
It's the M.
always the M. It's always the M.
I can't get
but-
2. I can't at least -2 points.
-2. That'd be more.
Take off 2. That was
What?
What are they, 5 points each?
Yo, no, they're not 5 points each.
What are yes, they are. They gotta
It's
be-
one. It's 1 point. This is my show. I'm not. But either way,
70.
You,
I'm
you
at
end up
70% then.
you got 7 out of 10. That was good.
Yeah.
You knew Green Lantern more than you knew MODOK,
Mm-hmm.
but you still got 7 out. That's not bad at all.
Not bad.
70% from the field. That's decent. That's decent.
Yeah.
Let's go. But anyways, that concludes our show, man. That concludes our second episode of Superhero Fight Club. You know, everyone, thank you for everyone for listening, right? Make sure you follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you, Eric Hines, for showing up
Good.
again.
Glad you had me.
We appreciate you. Thank you for taking time out today. I know you're a very busy man, so thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Do you have anything to say before I sign off?
First, I just want to thank you again for allowing me to be here. I want to thank my support. Sorry,
Shout out to you want to give a shout out to James. Hold on. Shout out to
James.
James. Wait, let me get it. Shout out to James. Shout out to James really quick
right?
for supporting him.
And the six man on the bench.
6 man
Yeah,
Josiah. Josiah came in
Thank
late.
you very
Thank
much.
Shout out to Josiah. That's everything?
Yeah, that's everything.
All right, man.
Have
Well,
fun. It was a blast.
I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you guys at the next superhero fight.